This is Southern Cross News with Joe Palmer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to Southern Cross News. After a fourth day of searching, police have failed to find any trace of missing West Moona man Elson Kittle. More than 100 people searched dense bushland near Hobart today, but there is still no sign of the 70-year-old who disappeared on Friday. Police are suspending the search tonight and plan to start again tomorrow morning.
Search parties preparing to enter the bush for a second day. 130 people all looking for missing 70-year-old Elson Kittle.
Our mission today is to safely search for and locate Elson Kittle.
The West Moona man was last seen leaving his home on Friday and hasn't been seen since. His car found near bushland at Lenna Valley yesterday morning.
He's a fit, healthy man. He's known to walk these areas and, we just don't know what's happened to him out there.
After spending yesterday searching tracks and trails, today walkers started a line search of a 6 square kilometre area in the foothills of Mount Wellington.
Mr Kittle is acting out of character. So we've sort of broadened our search. Everything concludes the fact that he's walked into that bushland behind where his vehicle was located, but we've now looked at other alternatives.
The bushland here behind us has been described as thick, dense and steep, with SES saying even venturing just a few metres off the track would make someone difficult to find. The rescue helicopter circled the site all day, but still no trace of Mr Kittle.
We're really hopeful that we can find Mr Kittle, but we need to be realists. We've got some expert medical evidence that says that he needs to be near a water source.
Now police are expanding their scope. As a boat lover, police called on boat owners in Greater Hobart to check vessels for any trace of Mr Kittle.
Check your front, your backyards, if you've got boats, please just check them because, our objective remains to find Mr Kittle alive.
Standing next to Mr Kittle's brother Lee, a police officer read a statement from the family who were out searching today.
Please accept our thanks from the bottom of our hearts. Our search efforts will continue and we remain extremely confident and hopeful about finding Elson.
Late today, police releasing this photo of Mr Kittle, captured in Moona on the morning of his disappearance. Anyone with information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Michelle Wisbeer, Southern Cross News.
More disruption is on the way for parents of school children, with an escalation of industrial action at 196 schools and colleges across the state. The Teachers' Union planning strikes in 2 weeks' time, which could delay the start of lessons.
Scenes like this from last month are set to be repeated again. The Education Union confirming today more strikes are on the way as it fights the government's 2% wages cap.
There has been no negotiation shift in the things that are critical to our members. That is significant and imminent addressing of the workload issue here and now, not on the never never, and getting our teachers off being the lowest paid.
Stop work meetings will be held in the north and northwest regions on Tuesday the 27th and in the southern region on the following day, kicking off at 9 a.m. and lasting for 45 minutes. That means some teachers won't turn up to work until 10:30.
We know that parents don't want to be disrupted, but many parents understand that teachers are doing this for the children that they are trying to educate.
Strike action starting at 9 o'clock through till 10:30 is going to cause an enormous disruption to families of a morning. Those families that don't have flexible work hours are going to be severely disrupted.
But there's no end in sight to the industrial turmoil as the government sticks to its 2% cap on annual wage increases.
Our plan is all about using the benefits of a strong budget to employ more teachers. And if we can do that and adhere to government wages policy, we can provide more teachers for our education system.
Labor supports the industrial action and says the dispute should be referred to an independent body if it can't be resolved.
The Industrial Commission has always been the independent arbiter of these kinds of negotiations and disputes. The fact that the government is sticking to its 2% is obviously trying to avoid any independent assessment.
We just want both parties to get back around the table and no more disruption to students' learning for 2018.
While there is the possibility of morning closures during the action, the government is yet to confirm which schools will be affected. Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
31 new rehabilitation beds will begin opening around Tasmania under a $6 million plan. The state government is spruiking the move as its biggest ever spend on drug and alcohol treatment. Today, one of those seeking help has opened up about his struggle.
If anyone knows how tough overcoming addiction is, it's Tarrant Woods. After a lifetime of struggle, the 37-year-old is blunt about where he'd be without help.
I'd probably be stuck with a needle in my arm somewhere, to be honest. I've suffered with ice addiction and amphetamines addiction for 27 years now.
It's the 7th time he's stayed here at Serenity House in Sulphur Creek. Today, the state government announced the site will be among 3 across the state, sharing in 31 new alcohol and drug rehabilitation beds.
At a cost of $6 million, this is about changing and helping people to change their lives for the better.
They will certainly change lives in the fact that people won't need to struggle with those substance use issues for so long. We'll be able to streamline the access into those residential services.
The extra beds will offer a mix of short and long stay support, opening over the next 3 years in the state's north, northwest and south, and taking the total number of beds available to more than 100.
Part of the success, I think, of residential rehab is that you don't have any stigma or opinion about that. They're all just people like you and I that are dealing with this, these addictions.
Tarrant says he's doing well after a week back at the house, as he looks forward to getting on with life being a dad and returning to his career as a chef.
I've got high hopes for the future. I see a big lift coming off my shoulders very soon, so it'll be good.
Sean McComish, Southern Cross News.
The RACT is putting the spotlight on Tasmania's fuel prices. The motoring body says we're not seeing reductions in prices that should be flowing through after the wholesale price dropped. The RACT estimates Tasmanians are paying an average of $1.64 per litre, around 12 cents more than is justifiable.
We've given them enough time, more than enough time, to recover the lost profits in that squeeze, and it's now time to pass on the reductions to motorists.
The RACT recommends using the Gas Buddy app to shop around for good prices. 2 community groups are joining forces to launch a new clothing store with a social conscience. The Encore Clothing Friendship Shop in Launceston will help new migrants learn valuable retail and English language skills, while Self-Help, which employs workers with a disability, is also involved behind the scenes.
We go through them and do the quality control, and then we do the washing, ironing, pricing, and then restock the store.
Often the lack of opportunities to just have some volunteering is missing, and therefore we try to do that through our programs here.
All items in the pop-up shop have been donated by the public. The doors are open from Tuesday to Friday each week until the 20th of December. A 16-year-old Tasmanian has completed a 5-day marathon walk from Launceston to Sorell, travelling over 200 kilometres on foot. Danny Yates was greeted at his school today by his friends and family, raising over $5,000 for the Cancer Council.
Cheers from the sideline as Danny Yates takes another step forward to the finish. Walking down an appropriately named street and finally reaching his school in Sorell after setting off from Launceston on Friday.
My feet are very sore. I've got a lot of blisters.
The Year 10 student raising money and awareness for Cancer Council Tasmania, a cause close to his heart.
I recently lost my nan to cancer, and my pop has recently bet cancer twice.
But also he's raising awareness about Cancer Council, the services that we provide, and for him he's inspired by his own grandparents, I think on both sides of the family, that have been impacted by cancer. So he knows himself the impact of cancer on a family and also the impact of cancer on a community.
I just felt like I needed to do something physical more than just fundraising, because cancer patients are stuck inside all day in a hospital bed not being able to do anything.
His proud family among his biggest supporters.
I think my heart's about to bounce clean out of my chest at the moment. We're all very proud as a family of what he's done and what he's achieved, and thank you to the school and thank you to everybody that has supported him.
Lacing up his shoes, ready for the final part of his trek. One last dash for charity. Ruby COMMANE, Southern Cross News.
Now let's take a look at the day's business and finance news with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. Broad-based losses to the local indices dragged the Australian share market down following a sell-off on Wall Street overnight and weakening oil prices. The ASX 200 index has dropped by 107.1 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 72.16 US cents and 106.91 New Zealand cents.
It's make or break time for cyclists taking part in the Tour of Tasmania. The four-stage event will decide the winner of the National Road Series, with only a handful of points separating those at the top. For German-born rider RAPHAEL FREIENSTEIN, a year of early mornings and relentless training all comes down to this. His razor-thin lead in the National Road Series will be on the line when the Tour of Tasmania kicks off tomorrow.
We've got a strong team here, so I'm pretty confident we can have a successful tour.
A gentle ride around Launceston today will hardly compare to the tough four-stage tour ahead. Freinstein says the steep climb through Poatina will be his biggest test.
I think everyone is a bit nervous about this one because we don't race that many times up a hill for 30-40 minutes, so I think everyone tries to lose a bit of weight and trains a bit more in the hills to get really fit for this tour.
The 27-year-old last rode in Tasmania in 2014. A self-described all-rounder, Freinstein will be relying on strong climbing teammates to help him through. It'll be a different experience for Pat Lane, who is in his first season managing the team after riding in previous tours. Success would see in-form Make hold on to second spot in the team rankings.
It's a nice way to stay involved, and especially with a whole lot of young riders, and myself and Raph to sort of guide them, it's pretty exciting.
The tour begins with a time trial prologue tomorrow, before the main stages which start from Georgetown, Longford, Ulverston and Devonport.
Hello again, welcome back. A beautiful day right around Tasmania today, lovely and warm. 30 degrees the state's top in Hobart, Launceston 29, 20 for Burnie with 22 in Devonport. 30 also for Bushy Park, 29 for Campania, 27 degrees today at Cressy, Fingal, Medina and on the Bass Strait Islands, 24 for St Helens, 23 for Smithton, Sheffield 22 degrees with 21 for Lyowini and 19 at Low Head. Extensive cloud visible on the satellite crossing the state today with sunny periods later on. A large cloud band with embedded thunderstorms extends over from the central parts through to Tasmania. Further south, a frontal band moves towards the state, producing low cloud over South Australia and parts of WA, but pretty clear elsewhere. Tomorrow, a weakening cold front crosses the state as another follows closely behind. A trough extends over the eastern coast from Victoria to the Northern Territory, with ridges of high pressure lying over the southern mainland. On the waters, west to southwesterly winds 10 to 20 knots, tending south to southwesterly for waters in the south, the west and the east later, with seas to 2 metres. 19 in showers for the south in Hobart, Geeveston and Bothwell, 24 in Launceston, sunny in Devonport 20 degrees, 23 in showers for Cressy, 20 and sunny in Burnie, 17 for Strawn and Curry, and on the east coast 21 for St Helens, 18 at Swansea and 17 for Orford, showers throughout. And the UV is very high with 8s and 9s right around Tasmania. Early showers for Thursday morning, contracting to the far south a little later on. Showers about the north later also. Showers continuing through to the north on Friday and extending statewide later, with a fine day for most parts on Saturday. Showers through the east and also the southwest. Looking around Australia tomorrow at your major centres, Perth sunny and 30 degrees, 23 in Adelaide, showers for Melbourne and Canberra, 24 with storms in Sydney, 27 in Brisbane with 31 and sunny for Cairns. And a lovely warm evening, a few clouds about Hobart 28, 21 in Launceston and 18 in Devonport. Jo, that's all from me.
All right, thanks so much for that, Sam. And that's all from the team for now. We'll see you a little later with updates. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.